Hi, welcome. If you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Glad that you are here. I really am. It's great that you're here. Okay, I'm going to get started right away as I explain. This is my large dilutions, and I have in front of me all kinds of text. And I'm going to be trying not to leave too much white space on the text. And what I want to do is I want to create some backgrounds. And I know that I have said in other videos that, well, you know, if I was doing this, I'd be doing 3 or 4 at a time. Okay, Julie, put your money where your mouth is. That's what I say. So I just thought I would show you gel medium matte. There. This is why I use it as an adhesive. So what I want to do is I want to create these backgrounds, and even though I love color, more color the better, I'm going to be using black and white backgrounds because then I want my collage work, my journal work to really spring off the page. I want my background in the background. So I'm just going to start, and there's really no specific rhyme or reason, but I've got 4 journals sitting here, and let's just see how far we get with all this different kinds of black and white text. And I'm going to be putting the gel medium on top and under. Now, the reason why I'm not using glue stick is because I can't tell you for sure just what I'm going to be using on top. And because of that, I really don't want to have to worry about these things coming up. Now, glue stick is great and it works marvelous. But my experience is, this is a nice straight edge, so I want to put it at a bottom. My experience with glue stick is that if you really soak it, and you know, I might want to use some sprays on this. I might want to use watercolor washes. I don't know. And I don't want to have to limit my options. I want what I want. So I know with gel medium, this is going to stay. This is an acrylic product. So just like your acrylic paints don't move, this is not going to move. I've got a little wrinkle. I'm not extremely concerned about wrinkles, but again, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing on top of this. So yeah, it's already sticking. So if I could avoid wrinkles, but I'm not going to sweat it. There is a little something you can do, and that is you can just make a cut, let the air out, and then put it back down. Let's just see what it's like when it's dry. So, you know, sometimes when you get a journal page, or you get to a point in your existing journal that you're using, and you are just facing these blank white pages, or, you know, some people have black journals. It can be so daunting. It can be so intimidating. What am I supposed to do to fill this up? And, you know, even I can feel that way, you know, from time to time. So to have some backgrounds that are just, you know, ready to go, it can be a blessing. It really can. So that's why I am doing this. Now you're going to see that I go willy-nilly all over because I don't want these pieces to be on the bottom and then on top and then on top and then on top. It kind of creates a pattern on its own. I don't want it predictable which is on top and which is on bottom. Do you know what I mean? I want my little collage papers to be random. And maybe that's something that no one would ever notice. You know, I don't know, but I really don't want to try it. So let's grab another type of text. And that's all I grabbed was text from different sources. So, you know, you've got different fonts and you've got different paper textures. And so that's what I was trying to look at. Now, it's tempting to just put this in a corner, but that's an awful lot of a white margin. So I am going to just take that off and I want the text to shine through it. I don't want to create in some areas a frame and in other areas no frame. So that's what's on my mind. I'm just going to put this here and I can lift this for just a moment and then put it back. I think some water is working its way out of my brush as I'm working it. It's not going to hurt. It's just kind of mysterious because I've never had that happen before. And this wasn't sitting in water, but it was sitting in my acrylic brush holder, which just has the brushes all upright. And I don't think this clip is going to stick fast. We'll find out, won't we? Okay, let's get a different all together again. See what we've got. When you're using text, I always remind people, consider that, what are the words? Now, this is a book on economics. So it's 20 years old. I glanced through it and it reads like a text. I can't find any reason why there would be profanity or situations that just aren't pleasant and that someone relaxing and looking at a collage might think, oh, interesting, but not in a positive way. Like your blind date is interesting. Well, that means they're, you know, ugly. Oh, you know, that's not very nice, but sometimes, you know, there is the truth. Now, I don't mind my text being upside down. I don't mind being horizontal or vertical. But what I don't like is sideways or like catty corner. I've said, I've seen other artists, I've said this in my other videos, I've seen other artists do it. Their work is beautiful. I don't think a thing of it. It's not something, but I don't know, when I'm trying to do it myself, it just feels to me like you're falling off the page. And, you know, there's no reason for me to think that way other than my own silly thoughts, but it's what it is. That's what it is. This is an old recipe book that a church put together many years ago in the 70s. And so I just like the fact it's a copy, but at the very beginning, somebody was on their IBM Selectric and they were typing this up. This is a nice straight edge. Well, I could put it right here. I'm getting towards the end of this journal, so it's got quite a bit of a little dip here at the seam. But another reason this gel medium is very, very helpful. You can put this guy right here. So, what have you been doing today? Have you been crafting at all? Let me know in the comments what you're working on, because I am sincerely interested. Are you working in an art journal? Maybe you've got a canvas going. Just what's on your easel? What's on your work table? If we had to put together a video, and it's one of those videos that's using up what's on my desk. Okay, well, what's on your desk? I'm interested. obviously you see what's on my desk and around my desk. Multiple journals and a lot of black and white stuff. All right. Put this up here. Music note paper. And I realize I'm covering up something underneath, and it's totally fine. Totally fine. That kind of thing can just add just an extra spark of interest. It really can. So never be concerned about covering things up. It can be quite, I don't know. It can be kind of intimidating. You're like, you know, what are they going to think? Here I am putting all this, and then you know what? Don't worry about what they think, because it is a background, number one. And number two, you liked it at the time you were doing it, and that's what matters the most, right? I mean, if you're doing, a commissioned work, well, then, of course, you're going to be working from somebody else's direction. But as far as I know, we're just all working in our journals on our own, right? Okay, don't I have a piece of that going? Yes, I do. So, I got things together as best I could, but there was always just some downtime as I fool around and search for just the right piece of paper and that kind of business. And I'm trying to not think about this all too much. I'm barely auditioning because I don't want this video to be too short, and I don't want it to be too long. And sometimes that's a hard balance to come up with. All right, I think I could use a little more of this type of text. See, I might need something small like that. Don't need that. I realize I throw away some things that other people would save, but I honestly have to think carefully about my storage and, what I know that I've used in the past compared to what I thought I was going to use, but I never did. So, yeah, this brush is leaking. Well, I'll be. The only reason why that just is on my mind is because if it was a wooden brush, it would ruin it. So, but this is a plastic handled brush, and water is locked in the ferrule. I'm not really sure what I can do to prevent that. This paper is just a little bit thicker, so it's going to be just a little trickier to get down in that seam, but we'll make it happen. Okay, I just need a few more smallish pieces. Where can this go? That's the same as that, though. All right, let's put the icebox butter buns up there. Sounds delicious. Maybe I'm just hungry. My time with you flies. It just does. And it's just so wonderful. And to be able to do art with you, really, it's just wonderful. I can't say enough about it. Okay, so I knew I had enough of that, but let's see about down here. I think it won't be so close, like I never had an original thought, You want to... Okay. All right. The places where it's hanging over a little bit, I'm not worrying about. I really would rather not have too many open spots, but there's a little bit on the edge with a torn. I might just leave that. Not because I'm lazy, but I don't mind having that torn edge. And we tore off all of the margins that were there. So, you know, I think that looks okay. I'm just going with it. I've got some water to sop up here. Okay, I'm going to work on this side. Hopefully it'll go a little faster because it's not as bendy. And let's get started. So, would you call that a neutral background? I would. And that is why I'm doing it, because I just feel like, for a change, because I've never done this before. So, and it's not that I just saw someone do it and liked it. No, I was just contemplating what I might like to do. This really doesn't have that much of a margin, but it kind of does. I was just kind of thinking about what to do, and in my mind I was thinking, you know, I want to still do color. I haven't satisfied my itch for wanting bright color. And so what I thought was, well, if you really want a lot of color and you want it to stand out, how about making a very neutral background? And I thought I had a good idea. So we're going to try it. That is just one of the many beauties of having an art journal. Try it. The worst thing that can happen is you turn the page, you know, and I'm not spending that much money on these supplies that I'm using today. You know, I mean, the book page is nothing. And I get them often from like friends of the library, and I get them from, thrift stores, rummage sales, all those kinds of things. And honestly, I'm trying to rescue books, keep them out of the landfill. I mean, who wants a 20-year-old book on economics? Is it going to be relevant? Well, apparently no one did at the library, because I bought it for $0.25. So either it was not checked out for a very long time. You know, is it relevant? Isn't it? I don't know. Now, often when we get this kind of a textury thing on the sides, I like to keep it. This paper is so fragile, and I'm not creating that kind of a background, so I'm going to let her go. But I'm sure there'll be other times when I'll be happy to have that textury edge. Let's get this up here maybe. And I don't mind if some of my pages have more larger pieces of text and other ones have a little bit smaller. This text is running crooked. If I can get it up, I'm going to. If I can't, I'm just going to leave it. But I mean, it's crooked enough that it looks like you tried to make it straight, but you missed. You know what I mean? It's not enough of a crookedness to say, well, you know, that was a technique. But this gel matte medium, it sticks fast. So I'm happy I was able to get it up. In another minute, I would not have been able to get it up. Okay. A little bit more of something. A little bit more music notes, maybe. Just getting all these margins off. And let's make it a little smaller. It's music right up against music. Maybe we'll put this right here. And then maybe another piece down here. Yeah. I had a lot of notes on that piece. How about here? Hope you can see. I tried to position you so that you can see this book, and then the other books are all smaller, so I know we'll be okay for that. All right. Now, gel medium, it's thick, and so it takes a minute to dry. Dry enough that you are comfortable to work on top of it. Do you know what I mean? And with acrylics, you know, acrylics will create a skin on top, but they're really not dry. And, you know, you can end up with weird things happening to text that, or, you know, things that you've put down or that you've painted with acrylics, and then you hit it with a heat gun, or you know, just let it set for a time, but not long enough. And, you know, it doesn't always turn out to be a happy accident. So I really, if I can, I prefer to give this an overnight. And the way we're doing this, you know, I think I can have that, because what I thought is we're going to do these backgrounds all in one video, and unless it becomes just too long, and then we will go in like step 2, and we will then, you know what, I'm trying to talk and I'm trying to work at the same time, and it's just not happening, and I apologize. So, get these journals done together, gang style, kind of assembly line style, and then start working on them one by one. And, you know, they'll be different. And then we've also got rid of the fear of the all-white page. We don't have to fear that at all. And this isn't so much critical work that we'll be afraid to work on top of it. Trust me. As a matter of fact, we'll be ready to work on top of it. We'll be kind of thinking that needs a little something. Taking these margins out. This looks like, this is from a book, a teenage book. And again, I bought this from the Friends of the Library, and it was only 10 cents because it had a library label on it. And these books, according to them, may not have been checked out for 5 years. So they give them one last hurrah for someone to take them, and then in the trash they go. So, again, I am happy to give them another chance at life, right? Okay. All right. We've just about got this one licked. And as I said, this is the biggest one. So we don't need to worry. The next ones will go quicker and quicker, because I wanted to have you be able to see the biggest journal first, because then the camera was set up that you could for sure see that going on. And then we will move on to the smallers. That kind of ended up like a bullseye, didn't it? All right. Trying to hurry and get some of these larger areas that need a little coverage. And up in this corner, get something on here. So what are you doing for dinner tonight? And I know that's a question that a lot of us dread, but right now in my life, I have whatever I want. Unless my son and daughter-in-law ask me to help out with a meal or something, which has happened, you know, when you're trying to work full-time and you've got a family. Sometimes it's just, Mom, How would you feel about sending a meatloaf over? Sure. When? Today or tomorrow? You know, I've got the time and I enjoy to cook for more than one. That's for sure. That's always, you know, kind of refreshing. All right. How is this? You know, we can always add more later if we just feel like there's some bare spots. Okay, journal number 1 done. Let's grab another one and set this one out to dry. Okay, journal number 2. And on we go. Now, I'm a girl who likes to shop at Aldi. Do you guys ever shop at Aldi? I can get a lot of stuff. And years ago, before I was living at a place where there was an Aldi, because when I was in Arizona, if there was an Aldi, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't see Aldi till I moved back to Michigan, and that was about 14 years ago. But I like Aldi. I think it's fun. It's kind of a, sometimes it's kind of a treasure hunt because you just never know what they're going to have going on. What's going to be in the aisle of shame. And, you know, when you read about people that go to Aldi, it can be so hilarious. You know, I went in for milk and I came out with a 4-man tent. You know, it's just, and it's so true. It's so true with Aldi. It really is true. You just don't know what they're going to have and what you can't live without. But you really can't go in there when it comes to that, those types of goods. You can't go in with something in mind. You can't say, well, you know what? I'm going to run to Aldi's and get a dehumidifier. Maybe they have it. They probably don't, unless you saw it in the flyer. Chances of you finding a dehumidifier today, no. But if someone told me, oh yeah, we've got a dehumidifier, bought it at Aldi. Well, that doesn't surprise me. You just happen to be at the right place at the right time. I've heard of Lidl. Now, do any of you have a Lidl around? I've never seen one, but I understand they are in the United States, and I know they're overseas. Where overseas, I'm not honestly sure. But I have heard women talk about art supplies that they got at Lidl. So, what about that? Yeah, that's what I heard, was that they got art supplies at Lidl. I think it was Mary Me Small Art that said she had gotten some art supplies at Lidl. I think it was acrylic paint. She liked it. You know, I don't mean to not show you what I'm doing, and I apologize in advance. Now, I have shopped at Trader Joe's, and I had before I ran into a Aldi, and I understand that they're brothers, but they work totally separate. The people who own Trader Joe's and the people that own Aldi, they're related, but they work separately. And so, but I'll tell you some of the things that I just always like to buy at Trader Joe's. Those are the things that I like to buy at Aldi as well. You know, like, candy, especially chocolate, is not like Hershey's. And to me, it's better. You know, I need more chocolate like I need a hole in my head. But, you know, once in a while, you just want to treat yourself. At least I do. So I like their chocolate. I like a lot of things there, but there are some things I'm not too nuts about. But I don't want to say too much because it could be your favorite, and I don't want to rain on your parade. So, but what I do is I shop weekly at Aldi, And then once a month-ish, just for the few things that either Aldi simply doesn't carry or that I just prefer a name brand over the Aldi brand, I do go about once a month and pick up those items. But it's not much. It really is not much. I'm going over here because this is going to drop little bits, and just want to do that right over my garbage instead of having to chase them all over the house later. Because that's what would happen. Uh-oh. See? Can't do that. Cut this down a bit. Put it down here. It was recipe up against recipe. And that will never do. I don't mind putting a little sliver up here, though. There. Okay. Just about got this page licked. So let me know in the comments about the places you like to shop. Now, before I moved to where I am now, I was, instead of Aldi, I mean, I did the Aldi thing, but then for the filling in, I went to Kroger. But Kroger is not too popular where I'm at now. And so I have to go to Meijer. And it's close. And, you know, time is money. And you got to think about gas and, you know, just all that. And, I mean, right now I'm spending $200 a month on gas. So I'm not going to be saving any money by driving further than where Meijer is to get my few items that I like to get. But we all kind of, well, it's, why do I talk in sweeping generalities like that? It feels to me like we all kind of get our little favorites stores and we just kind of stick with them, don't we? I think part of it is we are all in a hurry and we know where everything is. We know just where to walk and right there, bam, we're all set with whatever it was we came for. And there's a lot to be said for that than to have to hunt and peck and maybe still walk out and not have what you came there for. I'm just going to put one piece right here and I'm going to call it done. And I'm going to trying to find something that's not right there. I think this is perfect. And there. Oop, no, crooked. There. Okay. All right. There's that side done. Can you sit through another side? I hope so. Do any of you do your grocery shopping totally online? Now, if there's a Whole Foods here where I'm at, I haven't seen it. I haven't gotten an ad for them. I never heard of anyone going there. No one's ever said, well, I'm on my way to Whole Foods. So we did have Whole Foods when I lived in the Detroit area, but I'm not aware of a Whole Foods here. And, you know, that's an Amazon entity. So, but do any of you just completely grocery shop online? I did when the virus was just coming into vogue. And, you know, again, I'm working with, you know, the frail and the weak. So I was, of course, being very careful. We didn't really know what we were dealing with a couple of years ago. And so I would do where you fill out the form kind of on your phone and then they bring your groceries out to the car. Only, you know, there were shortages. Now, I'm not talking about toilet paper. I'm talking about things like chicken. Well, they had said they would substitute or they would text you. And I know they were busy. Please, I'm not complaining. But I ended up with no meat. None. One time. Another time, I ended up with, again, something, you know, like I had put maybe some bread and I had put some buns. Well, I know that they had some bread somewhere in that store. And I know they had some kind of a bun or a roll in that store. But no, a particular brand that I had checkmarked on that form, they were out of, and so I just got nothing. I knew something was wrong when I looked in my bank, and my grocery bill was like $50, and I knew it should be more like 90 to 100. So anyway, what am I saying? That didn't work for me. But what did work for me was there was a thing where you could kind of like check out as you went. And then you just got to the checkout area and you just aimed your phone at the machine and boop, there you go. You were done. And so that worked for me. Because it was in the waiting in the line that you just were a little bit trapped. And if people weren't doing their social distancing, it was just a little uncomfortable. How about your other shopping? Do you find that you do more online? I know I do. One of the things is when I buy things, I've got to bring them upstairs. And again, I'm not lazy, but sometimes that can be, you know, a lot on this old bird's body. And so, I have gone to buying things like my laundry detergent, which I do buy the most eco-friendly, this, that, and the other, but it's still heavy. So, yeah, I do buy that and then let them bring it up the stairs, you know. What else do I get that way? Well, I guess laundry products is the biggest part of that, because that's the one that just really can weigh me down, and it's just a little more than I can take, especially, you know, depending on what else I've done that day, but, you know, who knows. So, yeah, I let them bring it up the stairs, and then all I have to do is open the door and pull it in, no problem. A little easier for this lady. I definitely, though, am shopping more online. One of the things that I did like when I was in the Detroit area was we had a Blick store. And that was great to actually see or talk to people in the store that have actually used, you know, maybe some of their Blick brand, you know, and you want to just ask them, now, do you find this gesso is effective, or is it cheaper, but you got to put 3 coats? You know, that kind of stuff. It's just nice, but we don't have any, if there's any store like that, I mean, we don't have a Jerry's Artorama. We don't have a, I think AC Moore went out of business. But, yeah, no main art supply. We do have the big box craft stores, but I find art supplies there can be more expensive. And now that they've gotten rid of any kind of a coupon incentive, because all of them have gotten rid of coupons. Joann's has started to throw some coupons out there. But it's rare. So I do find sometimes going like to blickonline.com, that can be a good way. Even with shipping, I'm still saving some money. I am an Amazon Prime member, and so I buy art supplies on Amazon. Now, did you know, I feel like I'm gossiping. Did you know that Amazon has their own line of art supplies? Oh, yes, they do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I was flabbergasted. But they have, I remember colored pencils and markers. If they've got more, I'm not aware, but, you know, obviously it won't surprise me. But yeah. And I saw one review on it. I think it was Ray Dizzle that did a review on some of the Amazon products. And, you know, I think she kind of gave it a student grade, but, you know, don't quote me on that. I'm not positive what she really had to say about it. But I know it wasn't like just all negative. I do know that. So Amazon is getting their finger in a lot of things, aren't they? But I can't deny the convenience, that's for sure. And, you know, what do you think of their reviews now? You know, I mean, I'm cautious, using a little discernment if I can, than to just take every one of those reviews that you can find and simply running with it. You know, I think Amazon is doing the best they can, but I think individual sellers may have a little trick up their sleeve now and then. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be. Just not sure. But I guess often when I'm buying from Amazon, I'm buying something I'm already familiar with. You know, Liquitex gesso, it doesn't change. And the Liquitex company even has their own Amazon Liquitex store. A lot of the other companies, art supply companies, have the same kind of a thing going on. I realize this is kind of the same text with the same text, but sometimes you just have to accept that. Okay, it looks like I have a space here, but I really don't. It's just a margin from the music. So down with this book and let's grab another one. I think we'll just do one more instead of two more. This is my art journal that I made from an old book, kind of altered book style. I think it's Flowers for a Friend. I think that's what it is. The pages are, right from the beginning, they struck me as awfully dark. And do you see what I mean? I mean, Flowers for a Friend? I mean, well, again, you know, I'm just so wanting colors. I want everything to look like a carnival, I guess. But flowers are supposed to be cheerful. These look dead. They look like someone's potpourri that should have been thrown away a long time ago. There, I said it. But that's the emotion that it brings in me. And, you know, who knows? Maybe that was really in fashion. Lord knows I'm a fashion fatality. So I don't know what's in style and out of style. That's for sure. Don't go by me. I wore a t-shirt the other day from the Mall of America that I bought at the Mall of America. Now, I was at the Mall of America when my son was in kindergarten. And my son is 34 years old. So, that's how fashion forward this girl is. And I don't know why I'm that way. And I mean, there was nothing wrong with the t-shirt. You know, you didn't look at it and say, oh, 20 years old, huh? My son just knows I haven't been to the Mall of America in a long time. And he knows I bought that shirt when I was there. So, there you have it. I guess that goes along with repurpose and reuse. I did read an article years ago, but I just have a hard time believing much has changed, that what a huge percentage, and I don't remember the number, but it was just staggering number of how much of the landfill is old clothes. Now, I do know from people that have worked in thrift stores that so much of the clothing that they get ends up in the trash. Some of it doesn't even qualify for them to sell by the pound for rags. So, you know, how they call these things, what's the criteria, I have no idea. But that kind of made me sad that people were, and I mean, I don't think anyone's doing it on purpose. I don't, you know, I don't think people are saying, well, I'm not going to throw it away. Let the Goodwill throw it away. No. No. But just, it made me sad that the landfills are being choked even by clothing. I've always sort of had the, I don't know, what would you call it, the rule, my own personal rule, that if it's something that I wouldn't wear at all, why would someone else wear it? You know, sometimes it's just that dress that I wore to the last wedding, and then I wore it to, you know, maybe it was a friend's wedding, and then the next time I wore it to a relative's wedding. Okay, well, everyone saw it, you know, that whole thing. So, you know, maybe I'll wear it to church on a Sunday, but then I give it away to someone else who needs a fancy dress, and I wore this just a couple times. Take it to the dry cleaner and then just take it over there, and hopefully it's a blessing to somebody else. But I certainly don't want it to be a burden for the thrift store to have to, oh boy, got enough of that. How about more of this? Yeah. Do any of you thrift shop? You know what? I don't like the hard edge. I have to be careful thrifting because you do see things that are absolutely beautiful at such obvious prices that are, you know, hard to turn away. But, you know, I can really over-clutter my life. And, you know, that's the same with these scraps. You know, I only have so much room. I only have so many storage bins. And it becomes, you know, something that starts to make me nervous. You know, I just like, oh, no, this is supposed to be, you know, my joy, not my burden. So if things start feeling like I'm just drowning in supplies that I'm not even sure I'm going to have a place to use them, no. You know, I've done my best to keep things out of the landfill, but I can't have it so that I can't run a vacuum cleaner because everything is just so congested. You know what I mean. Okay. Another recipe. This is so cute. You know, I think of all the moms and grandmas that donated their family recipes so that other people could enjoy them. You know, maybe recipes that their relatives invented, you know. Be the only way to do it. So why aren't I doing it? Well, tell you the truth, I've got a lot of cookbooks and I've got a lot of my own family recipes, so I'm using it this way. And I didn't buy it for the recipes. I bought it because of the IBM Selectric, it's my guess, typewriting that is in the text. Just don't see that every day now, do ya? Well, I don't know about you, but I am liking having something other than that brown wreath. You know? Ugh. Pay attention, Julie. Okay. Almost done. And then, in my next video, that's my goal. My next video, these will be dry, and I'll be starting to work on top of them so that you can just see what it is that I put in my art journal with a lot of color on top of this black and white. How does that sound? Kind of got recipes everywhere. We're so close to being done, and yet, why can't I find Well, okay. We've got music note. We've got this. We've got, I guess we really, we do though. We've got a lot of this. All right. Well, you know what? Bite the bullet. Get it on there. Everyone wants to go home. Right? You running the vacuum cleaner under my feet? Don't blame you. Have you ever been in a restaurant long enough that they bring out the vacuum cleaner just hoping that you'll get out of there? I don't feel bad if we've only been there a reasonable amount of time. You know what I mean? I mean, if they took an hour and a half to make our food, well, that's not my fault. But sometimes people just sit and visit and, you know, understandable, but, you know, maybe they need to just pick up and take that home. Or to a place that is open longer instead of making all that wait staff wait to be able to go home. I know that would be hard on me. One thing about nursing is the only thing you've got to wait for is your relief, because that's an ongoing process, never closes. So no one's rattling the keys because they're ready to go home, unless it's the back in the day when we used to count all the narcotics. A lot of that's automated now. Okay. You know, I do have a place right here. And the only reason why it's on my mind is because I can see some of that brown wreath. I want to get that covered. And then it's a little piece of something or another, even if it's just plain. Cover up that brown. There. Okay. I may have to trim that. All right. Okay. I have a feeling that you've seen enough of this. Next time we get together, we're going to work with some color, and we're going to put some things on our, where we broke a page. You know, it's not really, can't say we broke a blank page. If you found this helpful, if you found it entertaining or interesting, please consider hitting the like. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps me a great deal. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.